First of all, I'm a physicist, as you said. I'm the head of the Dielectric and Terahertz Laboratory in Ariel University. But that means that my speciality is understanding how matter interacts with radio waves. So I'm quite eminently placed to talk about this. Quite simply, small cells are transmitting usually between 6 watts to 10 watts, which means at a distance of 30 feet from a bedroom, because they would be basically at the height of a second-story building, you'll be exposed from a single antenna to about 0.3 watts per square meter. Now, that doesn't sound very much, but it's actually quite high. It is certainly higher than the standards allow in Switzerland, where quite recently an expert group, let me just give you the name, the Berenis group, who advises the Swiss government on electromagnetic radiation and its aspects with human health, state this is way too high and should be reduced. There is no really good technical reason why they have to be that close. The small cells antennas can work perfectly well from distances of up to 300 yards, even up to 1,000 yards, especially if they are transmitting at those sort of power levels. There's only one reason I can actually think of why a cell phone company would want to place an antenna that close. It's because they're looking to the high band 5G, and to make their lives much easier, they can then simply replace what is mid-band small cells with actual high band small cells without too much trouble or inconvenience to themselves. As I stated in my letter to the Sentinel, there is plenty of scientific evidence of the deleterious effect of electromagnetic radiation on us coming from cell phones. It is insidious, it affects our public health, and the allowed exposure rates as they stand today are far too high. This is not going to improve with 5G, this is actually going to get worse. There's another point that I would also like to point out. To make 5G work, you need to make a densification of the antennas. That means you need many more. Something like 1 every 50 yards when you're talking about the high band. This means its energy consumption is extremely high. So much so that the existing 5G networks in China are actually closed at night to save electricity. So if you are environmentally minded and you would like to do something about climate control, 5G is not the way to go. The other point I think is very important to state is that 5G is being given by companies who exist for profit. They don't exist for anything else. The service they give a good service for profit. The average 5G enabled phone is extremely expensive, and that's not going to change. So it is perfectly obvious to believe that the first place they will put their antennas in the rich neighborhoods, not in the poor neighborhoods. They will not invest in poor neighborhoods to bridge the digital divide in any sense or form, because it's more profitable to put them in the rich neighborhoods. So no, it doesn't meet that declared aim that Nicole pointed out. Definitely not. The health effects are deleterious, as I said. I think you will see a rise in cases of electromagnetic hypersensitivity, which is something real and affects probably about 3% of the population. That can be a lot of people. So I think this ordinance is not just poorly conceived, it is verging, in my mind, on criminal.